If there is a message for us today, I believe it is to learn to live from our heart in love. These short lessons, hopefully, will help to inspire you to live with purpose, love passionately, and inspire others. We are the change agent our world needs. I'm Helen Toews. Step into the river today with me to explore the mysteries of God. They are not hidden from us, but for us to discover. All right. So welcome everybody. Ed thinks I should plug my computer in. It's nice to have all this help. So hey everybody, this is awesome to see. I am so enjoying the testimonies. That seriously, the joy is tangible, and what a week everybody's had. This is awesome, just awesome. And before we begin tonight, Em started to share a little bit with us, and I've asked if she would share before we begin. So, Em, over to you.
Okay, so because of everything that's been going on the past 2 weeks, as well as all the instructions with meditations, I actually started delving and listening into more meditation instruction. Not only what you have on the River 474, but also with Joe Dispenza, as well as a lot of testimonials, etc. Now, some time back, Jackie from Brandon and I had kind of discussed about the fact that gratitude and appreciation were two different words. They were um, two different meanings. And what the Lord showed me was that I put my hands up here. My left hand is gratitude, and that is connected to my past, whereas appreciation is connected to my future. So when we have gratitude, that's one thing. But when we appreciate with our heart mind, that is so much more, and that places us in that present to future mode. The heart mind has been very prevalent. I've been learning a lot more about that as well. And just as an example, and I put my hand up earlier after I heard Hadassah's testimony. Well, this past, like the weekend of the 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th was tough. There was a lot of stuff happening, but what I discovered was, as I was listening to all these videos, that I needed to get my mind and my heart, because the brain is up here, the mind and the heart is down here, but getting them together, and so that I could actually, and I don't like to use the word envision, but I had my heart and mind together to so that I would no longer be feeling pain in my body, because I've been struggling with pain in my lower back, the hips, pelvis area. And so when I got up out of the chair after meditating, I do it morning and night now, but I am in no pain. I get up, I walk around. I mean, it is just totally God, and how God in me has been bringing forth that intention, and it's just phenomenal. But I really, really was impressed about the gratitude and the appreciation, how the gratitude is connected to our past. Yes, we need to be grateful that we have had a past, but we also need to appreciate that past, which will bring us into the future. That's it.
Wow, wow. This is so good. This is so good. And I love the analogy. I love the analogy. Uh, I'm going to, Susan, you're there. Okay, Susan, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. One of the things that I have been learning about appreciation is that it builds intimacy. When we appreciate someone or they appreciate us, it just causes our hearts to open. And that has been such a powerful dynamic for me. that appreciation is an intimacy builder.
Wow.
It's just, not that I forget it, but every time I just have a powerful shot of it, I think, oh, you've just got to do more of this.
That's outstanding. That's outstanding. You know, I have a dear friend, and for forever, she has kept a gratefulness journey or journal, and her life it has been in politics and held high office. She has one of the highest offices in Manitoba right now, and that is her lifestyle to keep a gratefulness journal. And when she does that, she says it shifts every single day, because the things that go on, and you can imagine if you're in politics, how much goes on in a day, but being grateful and appreciative of everything and the little things. And that's who we end up being, isn't it? Lovely, lovely. Em, you're back.
I'm back. I just what Susan mentioned. I realized that due to 2 deaths in the family over since the 28th, I have that appreciation and the heart mind. There has been mega. I mean, it was hard for a couple of days, but it was mega healing is what happened.
Right.
And just because I appreciated, not just grateful for my past, but
Right.
I appreciated it, and I appreciated each individual during that time, and it was healing for me as well as was healing for my ex-husband, from what I understand, through my daughter
Oh,
before he died.
that's so amazing. So amazing. Well, our hearts are full already, and I love I love our dialogues. I hardly want to leave this moment, but I'd like to go into the lesson and then come back. So if there are more testimonies, please don't go home without sharing them. This has been so precious, absolutely precious. So tonight, okay. Before I go on, there's a place on the River 474. It's called Swag, and all it I just use that term because it's swag. If you don't know, are things that you get free when you go to a conference or whatever. It's just stuff, and it's sort of the folder online that's just stuff. And I'm starting to put things on it. I put the Halloween booklet on it. People can download it if you wanted to make it. It's a PDF. You can make it into your own copy if you need something like that. But I've just put on the Merkaba meditation in, like, it's the Coles Notes we say in Canada. I don't know what you say in America, but it's the condensed version of the Merkaba, and it seems to be very helpful for people just to have it just in a couple of pages of this is that. So I just want to point you there if that's something. We had a conversation at our God Squad last night, some of us, about how sometimes what we're teaching is really, you know, I'm going to use the term advanced or brand new. That's even better, because actually the Merkaba is not an advanced teaching. It should be one of the simplest, and I don't know why we haven't been teaching it, over the years, because we are the Merkaba. We are that light. Around us is a geometric pattern, a sacred geometry of the 2 tetrahedrons, and we go through all that, and we are that energy. All the Merkaba meditation and the teaching is about is how we can activate that, because there's certain protocols that help to do that, and it's supposed to be really, really simple, not a confusing thing at all. So my apologies if I've given out too much information and it's confusing. I'm really hoping, and I'm trying to do whatever I can to make these things as simple as as possible. I don't feel that the things of God are complicated. You know, he's hidden the mysteries for us, not from us. So this is sort of part of the unpacking. Anyway, let's go on tonight, and I've put it into a PowerPoint because I find, there we go. I'm going to share. That's that. It's easy to keep, it's easy to keep track. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to take this out. Okay. Are we, can you see that? The power of our vision? Oh, you're on.
Yes.
It's okay? All right.
Yes. Yeah.
So if I freeze or something freezes, can you just shout at me, Kathy, please?
You bet. No problem.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I'm going to start because I want to share some of my journey on how I, when I receive a revelation, when I get an understanding on something, I realize that until that becomes mine, and somebody said that tonight as well. If the revelation doesn't become yours, it's just a good idea at times. So I'm gonna just take you for a couple of minutes through this, what I did with Kym's teaching this month on worship, because for me it was so powerful. And I realized that I would never truly enter into worship in the essence of the word, which, remember, she said the word shaka, if I didn't make it my personal truth and make it part of my heart's desire and reality. So Kym, in unpacking it, showed us that shaka was the three Hebrew letters shin, chet, and hey. Okay. Try not to hit the wrong button here. So these are my notes. Now this, it's just chicken scratch on a paper, but I got very excited and I took the notes as she's sharing with us. And then what I realized was I had to go back over the notes. I took the notes from the session, I read them very carefully, then I released them and I felt directed to read them again and then circle what connected to our heart. Remember the teaching in the heart-brain coherence when we learned how to ask your heart, because your heart is the best place to go for this type of thing, or to get answers to our questions. So then what I did was I went back and my heart highlighted some of these places, not every word, not everything that she spoke about, but for me, I went and I circled all the things that were important to my heart. And I wrote it out and I thought, wow, this is really amazing. And when I wrote it out, and I don't have it here, but that's okay. I wrote it out, and then the Lord said to me, as Kym had given it, and then I thought, and then the Lord said, I want you to reword it to the present I am. And then he said, because I am is not I was, I am is not I will be, I am is now, I am in I am. That's sort of the process that I went with. So the two most powerful things for me to have a clear vision, and I'm a visual learner, so I put images to things. If I am having to remember something, I do a little drawing on the side that just might not speak to anybody but me. And the second thing I do is meditation. And it's a process for me of recognizing the intention and purposefully planting it in my heart. And we're going to actually do two different meditations tonight that will apply to this principle as well. So the process that we used for the guided meditation is available online too, if for those of you who are new. So finding your own process is really good. this is not an only way, but in this series, it is one of the paths, and it's one that I use. Then because I am a visual learner, I made it into a storyboard. So the things that that came out of the notes and that I showed you them, here's what it ended up looking like. First of all, in the notes, I was impressed by I am omnipotent love. And I use this picture, it's from Heart Math Institute, because it doesn't matter how far away we are in the quantum spectrum, we are attached. We are omnipotent love. And then the next was I am the power to fulfill every promise. Imagine, now we're unpacking the word shaka, which means worship, and in it is the power. I am the power in worship to fulfill every promise. I use this illustration because it's also a great illustration for me of frequency. I can see the frequency in there. I am overriding nature. So when I think of myself overriding nature, I see myself in the Merkaba. I see myself cooperating the wheels within the wheels and the energy force of the light body and my body together, being able to override nature. I am producing miracles that removes mountains. I use this type of illustration because it just speaks to me about moving mountains. To me isn't just the physical mountain, it's anything. It's the infinite things that produce miracles in my life. I'm using this because it actually moves, a gateway of the power that enters into a higher energy. And so when I saw this picture, I see myself, a gateway of the power that enters into a higher energy. Remember, we're only talking about worship. I am a doorway into the realms of mystery, and because those mysteries are hidden for us. And so I never, when I think of a doorway, I just think of it going into a place, and there's a light and there's an unveiling in there for me. I am transcending physical resistance. In worship, that that transcending of physical resistance is something that I see throughout my whole entire body. And I use this because we do the blessing of the energy centers, which is an intricate part of it for me for this. I am divine breath and light to create. I love the meditation on this because the divine breath is the creative process. I see that the breathing out of our intention, the breathing out of love, the breathing out of possibility is the divine breath and light. I am seeing into other dimensions. That's what happens in worship. I am dispelling darkness. So this illustration to me reminds me that I am a light being, that wherever I am that light being, and wherever I am, darkness cannot exist. And then I just love this this picture because, as part of the meaning of worship is nurturing, comforting, and dispelling restlessness. And I am nurturing, comforting, and dispelling restlessness. And this picture just says, being in human forms, sometimes you desire to connect with a soul who feels like home. And I think we all have those people in our lives that we hold and they just feel like home. And that's worship, because the other part of that is that Yahweh, our Father, feels like home, and what He is, I am. So, and then at the end, Kym said, "I am, and that is part of the meditative process of just staying in that place of knowing I am. I am. I found this and it says, we are his passionate, extravagant pleasure as we are I am. This is a trajectory change, shifting our entire lives, changing all of humanity. We are coming aware in the center of the essence of Abba's desire, and it shifts everything. So I wanted to share that with you because when we learn something so profound, and I've had many people say they're so grateful for what Kym has been sharing in the I Am series that she did. And then this worship, and then next time she's coming back in a couple of weeks with Elohim. That when teachings like that really hit your heart, really hit your spirit, unpack them for yourself, and the teachings are always great, and they can launch us into absolutely more of they're a foundation. They take us into places where we have that intimate connection. So I'm not going to go through how I meditate on all of what I just shared with you, but with having the wording and the illustration, it enables me to sit quietly and actually see and feel, which is our intention, each one of the areas in a teaching like that. And having that, it's become really alive. Worship will never be the same again. So we realize, now it's a little bit of a jump shift into the lesson here. We realize that we learn a lot of things, but unless we activate the reality of it and let it take root in us, in our heart, it will simply be a good lesson. It's by giving it conscious life and giving that life a place to root in us that it will take on a substance and will change our being. My worship has changed forever, having done this. I want worship to be that was taught. I want to be the Shakha. I want to become meditative, not just sometimes meditating. And most of all, I want to be that living sacrifice acceptable to God my Father, which is my reasonable Shakha worship. So we are either creating coherence or chaos. Both exist only because we feed it and give it life. If you want to stop something in your life, stop giving it life. If you want to create something, envision it and give it life. Envision it. What do you see yourself to be? What desires do you see for your future, your desire, your need? And tonight is going to be, I hope, a very practical workshop. It's natural to say things like, I can really see myself doing that. Or, what do you see happening in this situation? And we know that by intent, it's not just the actual visualization, but it's the actual intent of a vision that we're talking about. And vision is really important, not just naturally, but spiritually. 60 to 75% of adults need corrective lenses to see clearly. Could this be a sign of our times? Our vision is so important, not just what you see physically, but what you see from your inner self, from your own consciousness. Consciousness in the Merriam-Webster dictionary is the quality or state of being aware, especially of something within oneself, or another being the state of or fact of being aware of an external object, state, or fact. Aware implies vigilance in observing or alertness in drawing inferences from one's experiences. The reality is that we live much of our life in an unconscious state. Throughout much of our day, we do things that don't require vigilance or awareness. We're active doing things that we have learned and do repeatedly, like walking. You don't need to have a consciousness to every step you take. Typing. So the most seasoned typists don't even think about where the keys are. They just type, and you've known these these people. They just type as you're talking to them, and it's amazing. We actually are in a hypnotic state at times, mostly unconscious to what we were doing. And a good example is answering this question: have you ever lost consciousness or awareness while driving? And I know that this happens far too many times, and because Ed's sitting here listening, I don't want to scare him. But there are times where you sort of wake up at a stop sign and think, well, how did I get here? Or you're on a long journey and you're chatting away. Happens to us a lot when we drive to the cottage, and we're having a great time, and all of a sudden we come up to the place where we will stop for ice cream or something, and it really is kind of scary. We don't that we are unconscious. Why is this important to have a vision? Well, Proverbs 29:18 says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Habakkuk 2 says, write the vision. Many times we pray without a vision. We pray from an idea or something that seems like it could be a good thing. For instance, we pray for peace for a country or a situation, but we don't have a vision for the peace. Habakkuk says, write the vision. And so what do we do? And this was in our sharing before the meeting tonight. So what do we do? Prayer is often a word spoken, but not a heartfelt reality. And words can be careless, like, I love hot dogs. Like, what does that even mean? So how do we engage in what we desire? What has been concerning me lately is the new word that we use for prayer and its intent and intention. It's a good exchange. It's really a good exchange. When we talk about prayer or intention prayer, it's really, really accurate. But it's become another thing to say when the person who's using it doesn't have a vision for the desire of the intention. And tonight we heard amazing testimony as Hadassah shared her intention and seeing what she was believing for as real, like you couldn't shake her, and then it came to pass. She had the vision. She was living in the end result of it, and it came to pass. That really rocks your world when it happens. So when you ask what an intention looks like, and someone says they can't tell you, then their vision isn't clear. So how do we engage in what we desire? And that's where the meditation becomes a practical application, because meditation means to become familiar with. So let's use peace. We can't write the vision if we don't know what peace looks like, or what it feels like, what it needs to be. It needs to be held in our thoughts and emotions as what we desire. It needs to be our reality beyond what we see in the natural. And then it's easy to release our gratitude and manifest it. And I'm going to take this part and into our discussion tonight afterwards, because I was going to do an intention on, meditation on peace, but I really wanted to have an open dialogue on it, because right now, peace, in particular world peace, is something that I think we can jump off of and learn together. So we're gonna come back to that. Habakkuk says, write the vision, and then he said how to do it. He said, make it clear. So that's what I want to do together. He wrote the why. He said, so those who see it can run with it. And this is where we have to break it down. If we're going to see our desire, then it has to be clear to manifest it. For instance, a young man, now I'm using young men, and I'm using a yellow Corvette because that's what my husband, was it silver? What was your Corvette? Anyway, a young man before he buys a car can probably tell you exactly what he wants, right? And what's that got to do with peace? The fact that it's easy to visualize and get excited about a new car is how we have to deal with peace. If we're going to set an intention for peace, if we're going to understand it, then we have to be as excited about it and see it as much as a new car. In imagining a new car is easy. You can imagine getting in the car, hear our friends say, wow, new car, great. You can see the dealership hand you the car keys. You can feel them in your hand. You can see yourself put the top down on a sunny day. You can feel the wind on your face. You can imagine yourself driving into your driveway. It seems really an easy concept, doesn't it? A little girl will dream about her wedding. That little girl can tell you every detail of her wedding because she created it so many times. A little girl's tea party doesn't need guests or even tea in the pot. The reality of it exists in her mind, and it's as real as it can be. Wherever your focus goes, your energy flows. Your thoughts and feelings are a creative force. When there's something abstract like an emotion or a state of being like peace, it will be important that our focus has a solid anchor that creates a feeling stronger than the moment. We cannot watch somebody being killed or think about a loved one in danger and easily think peace. And what about an injustice? Our emotions can't simply ignore what our eyes are watching. We are learning to recognize the negative things within us. We do that without judging it. We are releasing it for the moment, not ignoring it. And we do that in our meditation by taking a deep breath, breathing in life, recognizing, acknowledge what feelings might be resisting us, and then releasing it in our exhale. A time of negative stress can reveal our belief, our belief system, our true belief system, and our character. In a meditation time, it's not the time to analyze, but release. And it will be dealt with in God's time. We are the first responders to our own life, you know. Imagine if a first responder at an accident went into a panic. The results might not be what is needed to save your life, and it's the same with your meditation time. We need to do the inside work that strengthens us as much as the physical that is needed for our health and well-being as it is needed for us to be the co-creator with Father that we are called to be. And so tonight we're going to do 2 activations. One, a guided technique for physical relaxation that many of you may be familiar with, but might not have used it for a while. And then we're going to do a guided meditation to deal with fear, because those are fear, and then we'll do the sidebar back into peace, and this will be sort of a 2-part thing. Will be our direction anyway. So physical relaxation is almost a lost art. Getting to sleep when your mind and body don't cooperate can be really frustrating. And I'm sure if I could see your hands, we've all had times where that getting to sleep and your mind is just all over the place, and it really takes from your body being able to relax. Often if you wake up and are exhausted, it's probably not sleep you are missing, but rest. So this is a good technique for anyone at any time to establish physical rest, and it's probably the simplest thing that we can do. So the goal here is to be completely conscious and isolate every area of your body. Completely feel the difference between contracting stress in your muscles and releasing them. So let's try this together. You can be sitting or laying down, but find a comfortable place. Just find if you're in a recliner, I'm looking at Ed. He's reclining on a couch or just sitting in a chair. But get yourself into a comfortable position so that you can just relax your body, because this is all about your body. This is going to be totally you being in touch with your own body and seeing how that you are able to completely relax it. And it's sort of one of those things that when you're before meditating, or if you need to before going to sleep, it's a really great exercise. All right, so I'm assuming everybody's shuffled into a comfortable place. So the ideal is to be in a quiet place where you won't be disturbed as you're learning this, and then loosen any tight clothing, but just get comfortable. We're systematically going to release or tense and release every area of our body from our feet to our head. Okay? So just shut your eyes and just follow what I tell you to do. The first thing, just tense your feet. Like just your feet. Try to isolate them, maybe pull your toes up or curl them down. Just hold that. Now hold that really, really, really tight just for a few seconds. You feel the tension? Okay. Now release and relax. Now do the same thing with your calves, with your thighs. Hold that tension. Feel those muscles get really, really tight. Just hold it, hold it, hold it. Okay, now relax. All right, now tense your lower body, your bottom area, your stomach, just that area, just in the lower part. Tighten it as tight as you can. Be really aware of pulling it. You might feel your legs being pulled up by it. Feel the tension. Okay, now relax. Don't forget to breathe. Now tense your upper body, your chest and your back. Pull those muscles up really, really tight. Just try to isolate the chest and your back like you're a bodybuilder. Feel the tension. Don't forget to breathe, but just keep the tension. Can you feel it? Okay, relax. Now tense your arms, your hands. You can probably do that really, really, really tight. Those are muscles you use all the time. Tense it really, really, really tight. Okay, hold it. Contract it even more. Okay, let it go. Now tense your neck and your head. It's a place that we often have tension anyway. Feel it, just create it more. Breathe into it, tense it really, really hard. You feel it around your jaw, around your neck and head. Hold it there. Okay. Now let it go. Just relax. Okay. Now you can tense your entire body from your toes up. Just feel yourself, the whole entire body, as like you're lifting yourself off your chair or couch, or just be aware of every single body being tight, 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 tight. Don't forget your stomach muscles, your everything. Your neck, your jaw, your hands. Curl your toes. Make it really, really tight. Okay, hold it. Hold it. Okay. Now release. Now release. Now rest. Just take a deep breath. Honor your body. Just remember, it's wonderfully and fearfully made in the image of our Creator. Just let it rest as though it's on a feather bed. Take time. Let yourself just sink into the feeling of rest. Allow your consciousness to feel gratitude. Appreciate the moment. Learn to know rest as your friend, and then just stay there for a while. You can fall asleep if you can, but not right now. Okay. Psalms 127:2 says, "For he gives his beloved sleep." All right. Are you there? Okay. Everybody okay? Or are you all falling asleep? All right, we did that with our body because sometimes people, actually this is Giselle and I don't know if Giselle's on. Giselle and I wrote a book called Supernatural Childbirth, and it's one of the relaxation techniques that we used 40 years ago, or however long that, whenever it was we were doing that, a long time ago. But it's important, you know, us spiritual beings, we don't want to be so spiritual we're no earthly good, because you'd have to recognize the fact that we have a beautiful created body. This is the vessel that expresses who God is in this world. And the more we can rest and relax in our physical bodies as well, the better we will be when we're putting it together, when we put the light of our body and heart and mind into that place, into the Merkaba. So, is everybody?
Helen,
Yeah.
your video. I don't think there's any video now. Oh, there you are. Very good. Couldn't see you before. We can see you now.
Okay. Was I talking?
Yes, we can hear you, but your video is having some challenge. But we're good.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna fire my video person. I'm not happy with him. whoever he is. Okay. So are you ready to do, I'd like to do a guided meditation. It's called Releasing Fear. And I was going, like I said, I was going to do one on peace, but I want to come back and talk together about that, because it's a big subject globally right now, isn't it? But releasing fear is probably one of the most important things to learn to do, and this is a very practical meditation. I think we've all had opportunities, especially over the last couple of years, to really take that opportunity to be fearful of one thing or another. We are all really different about, it's all different what makes us worry. But let's just set our hearts together now in this. I'm going to put on a background music but here's what's going to happen, and not but I'm going to put this together for us so we can just do it tonight for the first time, and then I will redo it, and we will make it like the other meditations for the website if you'd like to go back to it. So stay in that, wherever that comfortable place is. We might be doing these these sessions from our beds if we keep this one up, but we're going to just find that comfortable place. All right. Okay, so we've chosen that quiet place. It's always a good idea to get comfortable, loosen any tight clothing. You can do this meditation sitting or laying down. And this guided time is for you just to listen to the words. They're simply to guide you, to help you to focus your energy. And if you get distracted, just come back to the moment that you're in. Just come back and adjust this. And this guided time is simply meant to lead you until it becomes easy to be directed in the consciousness of your own responsive meditation to receive direction from within. Remember that the kingdom of God is within you, and you are so precious and so loved. This is your time to simply connect into the divine heart of God, our Father. Remember, where we place our consciousness is the place that our energy flows. This is not a time for you to feel that you have to do anything. This is the time where you allow God to work within you. Just simply surrender and remember the one who created you, who loves you with an everlasting love and knows your every need. Just trust in him. So close your eyes and breathe. Just breathe in the breath of life. This time is just for you. Just breathe. If you feel any resistance of any kind, just breathe and let it go. Recognize it, let it go. So as we begin, know that fear is not an enemy. Fear actually has many faces. Fear may be a lie. Fear may be a real danger. Fear may be a thoughtful imaging of something that hasn't even happened. Fear might be an alert alarm, a system that's been activated for your good to affect change in you. Fear can prevent you from moving forward in an area of your life, real or perceived. Fear carries a strong emotion. This is a time to not let fear have a place within you so that you can come to a place to clear your thinking and to refocus. Fear is a trigger that may create tension in a part of your body, and when this happens, it might make you feel anxious. You might want to try to figure it out, but this is not the time. Let go of trying to control. Release yourself into a bigger plan. If you have done the right relaxation technique and your body still feels an area of tension, allow yourself to breathe into that place and feel it. Then breathe and let it go. Just let it go. Now, rest your entire body as though it's back in that feather bed. That feather bed wraps around you, and you can feel yourself leaving. You can feel yourself rising and floating. You can feel yourself going up and up. You're rising and rising to where the air is clear and it's very quiet. You can feel yourself leaving everything behind. In this place, you are separated right now from all tension or anxiety. And as you rise up, you go into that place that's familiar yet new. It's a place you can relax. Your mind is at rest. Each breath helps you to expand your thoughts of rest. With each inhale, you remember that you are created in the power and majesty in the very image of God. You have the DNA of Yahweh. You can breathe out the living letters Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. They are encoded in your very being. You are in infinite space. You are infinite space. You are becoming one in the intelligent consciousness of Yahweh. Just breathe, just breathe. You may feel yourself dissolving and merging into the reality of oneness. Just let it happen. This is your moment. This is your place, and it is outside of time and space. There's an amazing light around you. It's soft, but you can sense the frequency. This frequency is an infusion of infinite light. Let yourself surrender into the embrace of this light that's holding you. You remember, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the light. This light is a place of pure love. Breathe in love. Breathe in rest. Breathe in gratitude. Perfect love casts out all fear. Fear is not a sustainable emotion. Fear has no place in you. Perfect love permeates your entire being. You were created in love, by love, in the image of love. Love always was, love always is, love always will be. You are loved with an everlasting love. This is your truth and reality. This is your being. Beyond all that you deal in your life, love is the prevailing truth of who you are. You remember, love has the ultimate power. Breathe in love. Just experience the reality. Bring it into your heart. See love planted as in a garden. Feel it rest there. Fear has no place in your garden. Like a weed, it is easily picked out and disposed of. You are love, and fear has no place in you. It must go. Remember who you are. You remember. As He is, so am I in the world. I am divine life. I am divine love. The one connected with the reality of the truth. I breathe in only life. Only joy. Only love. Now set your attention to see your life free from fear. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What choices can you make to your life journey? What people have you been given that you can share peaceful times with on that journey? As you enjoy your place of complete rest here, you might feel the divine light surrounding you and give all fear into the hands of Yahweh, your Creator. Yahweh, always present within you, surrounding you. Release fear completely with gratitude, knowing that you have no care for it anymore. From your heart's strength, from your heart's wisdom, you might whisper, I release fear and any of my emotional attachments to it. I release completely any cooperation I have with fear in thought, word, and deed. I surrender myself into the beautiful truth that I am love. I am grateful for mercy, compassion, and justice that is created within me. I am grateful for wisdom to be able to walk free, and I am truly grateful to know that I am never alone. I am always one with my Creator. Heavenly Father, Yahweh, thank you for your presence and love. Thank you for continued strength and wisdom and knowledge in all of my life's journey. Thank you that I am free from all fear. Thank you especially for your light of love that you created with me. I now completely rest in you in perfect love. So now as you return to that place of rest, that soft landing place will give way to the reality that you have allowed yourself complete release into that place where going forward, you now walk free. Wisdom will guide you. And best of all, you have been to a place you can go anytime for any reason. If you need to remember or be refreshed, return to that place. You are never alone. And for those of you who can open your eyes and are awake, haven't fallen asleep, maybe we can come back into the room. All right, team. Okay. I'm going to go into the chat room. Okay. How are you? How is everybody? One must use their voices. I like the thumbs up, guys.
Lots of thumbs up.
So,
We're all good over here. Yeah. Party Central is quite quiet at the moment.
I see that.
Really nice.
I see that.
That even relaxed Todd.
You sorry?
Feel like you're floating.
That even relaxed Todd.
Okay. All right.
Someone was asking about the music and where we can get it.
The music is something that Bob, who's my son, puts this up for me, and that's why we have the music. He's bought it. I don't know. It's whatever graphic artists do to put things together, and so I don't know. My answer is I don't know where you can get it. It's what we needed to do is to find music that we can use for the meditations, and so I'd have to ask Bob, but I think it's a professional site, and it would cost far too much to make a suggestion unless you were going to use it a lot, and they only come in little bite-sized pieces. So it's not a musician I can recommend or anything. But I'll ask Bob, and maybe I'm just talking and filling in space and don't know what I'm talking about. But I know that some of because he does commercials and things like that, he needs short musical things. So it comes out of somewhere. Okay.
Will it be on recording?
Sorry?
Will it be on the recording?
Yes. Well, I'll do this.
We can, and it.
Jackie, you went out now. You're sorry.
I said, will it be on the recording that we can use later?
Yes. This
The music will be on the recording.
the music will be on the recording, and it will be presented separately from the meeting time. So yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to share.
Okay.
The very first meditation was very hard. It wasn't hard, but seriously, it was like, yeah. So that was, but it was very good. The second one, it was like my body was like, it had no weight. It was so amazing. Yeah, because it was almost, I can't even explain. It was just so, it was awesome. Just so weightless. I had no, I'm out of words. Anyways, it was great. I loved it.
Okay. Thank you. I'm glad. They, how did how did you feel about love replacing fear? Actually, is what this is supposed to do. This meditation. We're past the days of casting things out and kicking them to the curb, and I feel that when we have a meditation like this, that it's the replacing, the understanding of who we are, and the love that we walk in, that will be what dispels any fear in our life. And the good thing about meditation is that we can do it anytime, right?
Yeah.
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 Awesome. Susan?
I didn't think I had a lot of fear, but
Okay.
When you were doing the meditation, the first one with the clenching and releasing and the clenching and releasing, I felt like almost like I was unscrewing a drain plug. And when we laid down or when I laid down and you started to do releasing the fear, I actually felt like it was draining out, and the love was coming from the top, like it was heavier than the fear was, like as dark and heavy as the fear can be. I felt like the weight of the love was just pushing it down, and it was just draining away.
Wow.
It was exquisite.
Wow. Well, that's a blessing. That's exactly what we want, is to live in that reality, right? Of that love. Thank you. M.
Yeah, I found the first one, of course, as we get older, we kind of forget to concentrate on certain parts of our body to tighten and release. And so holding that tension was kind of almost a struggle for me, because then you would say a little longer, a little longer. I'm thinking, Helen, I don't think I can do this anymore. But like it was good, and it did release a lot of tension. I mean, I even had an hour massage today, and I'm still feeling there's that much more. With the second one, in regards to the fear, I had a niggling of fear to something that I would really love to do at an event, and when I went into that, I just purposely intended for that sector. Okay, so, and what ended up happening was my heart filled so full of love for every single individual that would be at that event,
Oh.
that it was like I was love personified in that area. I'm not being boastful. I was humbled to be there for whoever needed me to be there to show God's love. And so for me, it was phenomenal. I mean, it was just like a confirmation, an affirmation that, as God leads me, I can do this. And it's okay. I don't need to fear any repercussions.
That is such a blessing. That is such a blessing. And that I'm so blessed listening to you, because I believe that's what we're supposed to become, is love, right? That's not boastful or arrogant. That is, we can stand up tall and strong and be love, because we are made in his image and he is love. So, wow. There'll be an amazing testimony come from that event, won't there? Awesome. Awesome. Everyone else is so quiet. Thank you for trusting. Like, thank you for doing the meditation together and just trusting in the process. Like I'm personally really blessed by that that we're mature enough to be able to put things aside or to embrace things, but to be able to, as we do these things together, it's amazing when we do these kind of things together as well. In this meditation, there's another level that we become one. Like we're quantumly linked anyway, but and then you bring that type of meditation where you release the fear or the negative and come into that place of love. We actually do it together, and so there's layers to this that is pretty exciting.
Lara shared something.
Okay.
She wrote, set my alarm to wake up and join you, and awoke to find my hubby up with a really sore throat. So this was so timely, and I was able to engage with love instead of getting into fear.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Fabulous. Thank you, Laura. Sharina.
Helen?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So-
When you ask us to cleanse all our body,
Mhm.
and I think it was so good. And because you also said the gratitude, so we don't really thank our body for, everything what we have been doing, our feet and, our hands, we neglect it. And I just felt so, I releasing, like, I'm thank you that, we appreciating my body. It was carrying me, all this while, and and everything what we just, I just felt that gratitude coming out of me to releasing, to that each area. I felt so good. Yeah. And another thing is, yeah, about the love. That was so good. And it reminded me, the Lord, some time ago, he told me, love is the weapon against the enemy. And he said, he will teach me, but I didn't get any teaching. And now he's teaching me. He's the time, and you're teaching me. And I just, it was reminded, and I was taking his love and, with so much. And I was in the love realm, was light was, covering. It was so peaceful, and it's so relaxed, knowing that, we don't have to worry anything. We don't have to, nothing need to be worried if you're, and I didn't want to come out of that place, it was covering the light and inside, and it was so good. So thank you, Helen, for taking us there. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And when you do this on your own, when when we're not all on together, in a timeline, it would be good for you if you're sensing that light to stay in the light, right? Just stay in the places, and I hope you'll do that because you're really in a great place, a really great place.
Thank you.
Now, Danielle, did you want to say something? I thought I heard your voice.
You did not hear my voice, but I do want to say something.
Oh,
Yeah, no, actually, I wanted to share about a meditation that I had yesterday morning. So all of this is pretty new to me since the summer. I was introduced to you and your group. And so, I've been following on different teachings. And so I've been meditating. But from what I am understanding from a lot of you, this is all new. And I'm learning a lot of stuff. And I feel like God has me on a fast track of learning. But so anyway, I was meditating yesterday, and so when a backstory is that when the whole George Floyd thing took place, like 2.5 years ago, I was so distraught, just like everybody. And I really thought, what can I do? How can I be part of the solution and not part of the problem? And God gave me the idea to become a big sister with Big Brother Big Sister. So I applied for it, went through the whole process. Well, they have never been able to find a little sister for me. And I think the pandemic was just difficult. You know, parents were real careful with their children and stuff. So they contacted me a few days ago and out of the blue and just said, we'd like to have feature you on our social media. And I was like, oh gosh, I don't know. Do I want that? First of all, and do I really want to do this little big sister, little sister thing? Because I hadn't thought about it a whole lot really in over 2 years. So yesterday when I was meditating, I thought, okay, I'm going to ask my heart the question, do I want to still be a big sister? And am I okay with being featured on the, you know, on their social media? And my immediate reaction was, no, absolutely not. I don't want to do that. Too much time's passed and all of that. And then I thought, no, that was me. That was my immediate reaction. That was my head. So I asked my heart again. I said, you know, should I continue to be a big sister? And I got this vision of this adorable little dark-skinned little girl with little pigtails and little white clips in her hair. And my heart said, yes, you have the time, you have the love, you have the capacity. Yes, this is for you. So it was just so beautiful because it was so clear that this was what God had for me, you know. And then about an hour later, when I was done meditating, about an hour later, I read from my Bible app the verse of the day, and it is, she extends a helping hand to the poor and opens her arms to the needy. Proverbs 31:20. I know. I don't know. God is amazing. And so it's like, wow, I received a clear answer so quickly. So I just thought, what a cool testimony to
Very,
asking your heart.
very cool testimony. Very cool. And
Yeah.
your heart is the safest place to land. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks for letting me share.
Awesome. Okay, Gigi, and then Amanda.
Well, that was beautiful. Thank you. So nice to get a little taste of you know, the how and how that feels and how we react. The first part I loved because I felt like I was at the gym. That's great.
Okay,
And
I'm just going to stop you for a minute because we're buddies. That was not called a meditation. That was just an activation. You know that, right? Everybody, that's not a meditative process as much as it is just a conscious activation, and it's just good for you to do to relax. Okay, sorry. Thanks, Gigi. Go.
no, I liked it because it made me aware of my body, and there was a lovely juxtaposition into the meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really nice because you're feeling your body, then you're relaxing, and then you're ready because your
Right.
body is you've dealt with it.
Yeah. That's so good. Thanks. That's good.
You've done all the stuff, and then you've relaxed it. It's excellent thing to do as a precursor to that. Anyway, so I liked it, and the actual meditation was beautiful because I felt like I got into a place of I was so relaxed that I didn't think,
Yeah.
and that was nice because it wasn't about anything but just I didn't have to think about fear or think about love or think about anything like that. But I did notice that because we were, you know, in my brain as we went into it, we were replacing, you know, fear with love, right? So it was just a fleeting thought, but it was signaling, and I felt the whole myself, my frequency raise.
Oh.
and it was beautiful. I also heard frequencies
Nice.
which weren't on your music.
Nice.
What is that? And it reminded me of, and I think it was, I think it was otherworldly actually, because it was such a different sort of sound, and it wasn't here. So,
Right.
whatever. But and it wasn't there, and it was quiet otherwise, but it was in sort of a tunnel sound, a tinny sound, which I've experienced before. And I thought, what is that? This is fun. And it was this transcending from here to a different higher frequency,
Right.
which is love, right? As opposed to fear. And I thought, well, isn't that easy?
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. So it was an experience of rising in frequency, rising in consciousness. And there was no such thing as fear. It wasn't even a thought. It wasn't even a thing. It wasn't even there. And so perfect love casts out fear, that kind of thing. It just wasn't there. It was this another juxtaposition. So just like the contrast with tensing and then releasing was the contrast of being here as opposed to being here.
Right.
So it was neat.
Gina, I appreciate you saying that because for me, one of the purposes purpose, yes, because we're purposeful, but one of the things for me that happens is exactly how you're saying it, but it's a place we become familiar with. So whether we're doing the blessing the energy centers or the I am meditation, expelling fear, this kind of thing, it's often there's a thread that when you do these, when you are become a meditative person. I think that's where I started weeks ago. When you become that person, these places become familiar. And when you rise up, and then all of a sudden you're in a place, and it's strange, and the words can be rising up or dark or light, but something within us says this is a familiar place. And then I've had that same experience where I start hearing whispers, or I start hearing sounds outside of the music. It's like the music is playing one thing, but then there's a descant to it that is higher. And I think there's a lot that begins to happen as we set our hearts on things above and not on the things of the world. So that's really good.
On that vein too, it was interesting because it was beyond the senses,
Yeah.
on the body. I was still here. I didn't feel like I was floating or anything, which I felt that before, but it was just a thing. And it was almost unintellectualizing the whole.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it felt like to me.
Because
'Cause sometimes we go in this intellectual way of, I have to do this now, I have to do that, and I have to concentrate on this, and I have to. It wasn't that. I was just, and actually, I think I was tired. So I thought, like, I can't think anymore today.
Yeah.
And which was really helpful, because I just sat, and then all of a sudden it was unintellectualized, and it was beyond the senses. It was here, and then I started experiencing the senses in the spiritual, which I thought, wow,
Yeah.
I'm
That's
hearing
very
something.
cool. That's very, very
It was
cool.
very
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
good.
Thanks a lot. Okay, Amanda, thank you for your patience.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I was waiting outside school when we did that meditation, so that was fun. But one thing I'll share, I think when you were talking about bringing the love into your heart, then I saw like a red rose placed inside, and then I saw like a yellow sunflower in my heart, and it's like still there now, which is really cool. And then also I actually ended up in one of my favorite places. And then I can't remember what was happening at the time, but at one point I almost fell on the ground, which is just, yeah, I kind of just had like that jelly, whole body jelly feeling, which is a familiar feeling to me. And I was like, oh, I need to be aware that I don't fall on the ground because I'm out and there's parents around. And so that was interesting. But I ended up in a place that's familiar to me, which is like where it's completely white light and it's like white vapor. And it's a place of entanglement and the oneness as well. So that's a familiar place that I've kind of ended up in for a long time. So I ended up there, and then I was also in like a golden light. I think you talked about a soft light, and so I kind of engaged with that a bit. Yeah, but that's what I remember from it. I wasn't always able to hear because I was out and about, so kind of doing it on the go. But that's the snippet I have anyway.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Our experiences are so similar and so different. Like that's our diversity and oneness coming together, isn't it? Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay. Now, I started off with trying to give you the process for how I unpacked Kym's teaching on worship. Did that help anyone, or did I confuse you? Did you follow how I unpack that? Okay, one person, two. Okay, good. We're good. Okay, so I wanted to. Does anyone have anything? Okay, Maggie.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that in terms of Kym's teaching, for me, it just embedded what Kym had taught in in what you did. It kind of, I saw it as like planting seeds. So it was like you were planting seeds in my garden.
Okay.
And I think that's really precious when you can, take what's already been said and, use different words, and it just solidifies it. It just crystallizes it within you, within me. And like yourself, I actually did a very similar kind of, when you captured the 3 Hebrew letters
Right.
Going downwards. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how I captured it as well. I did it in three kind of parallels, and then I just wrote down all the words that related to those Hebrew letters. So that was really helpful. I like the way you did that, and I think it's a good practice, and it's something that I want to mirror. And I started doing it because I think it's not enough to just hear something, but to be able to take it and plant it in your garden, which means that it becomes much more meaningful to you. And that's something that the Lord is teaching me to do that when I'm listening to even today. I'm a writer as well. I've said this before, and I write poetry. So it's something that's in me that I want to really start to actually collect some of the information, start to write it in a poetic way, because I think it really is, makes it more memorable. Yeah, but thank you, Helen. I thought it was fantastic tonight, and I'm really grateful to be here. So thank you.
Well, I'm grateful you're here because I know it's the middle of the night for you. It's rather mind-boggling. Anyway, you're deeply loved, Maggie. Okay, can we just collectively talk about peace? If we're going to do a meditation on peace or intention, how do you frame that? Because peace is sort of like, I love hot dogs. What does that mean? Beauty pageants are famous for saying, and what are you believing for? Well, world peace. But what does that mean? What does that mean? What does peace mean to you? Susan?
When you're talking about focusing like this and making it more manageable, I've really been working through the power of 8, and I love the way I sort of decoded that was, I've, of course, like most people now, been thinking about and focusing on Ukraine, and I thought about getting a map, and specifically the things that are on my heart are the preservation of new life, you know, the maternity hospitals and the nurseries and the orphanages. And so for me to frame that up, I would be taking my map and asking God to show me where are the pinpoint places where the next generation that's going to be really impacted by the trauma of this and the chaos of it. And that would be where I would be trying to gather people like-minded for us as a small group to really focus on that aspect of it, just to pull that part out. And
Right.
that would be my vision. That would be what I would be wanting to hold in the hearts of my little group.
Right. So what you are saying is that you would be writing an intention for a specific thing, like preservation of life in a specific country, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that certainly is a part of what peace looks like. Do you know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
so
Yep.
for us to release, if we are just like tonight, where we're dealing with fear, the answer to that, to dispelling fear, is to live in that perfect love casts out fear.
Mm-hmm.
So for if and I totally understand what you're saying. I agree that intentions come out of exactly what you've described. But what about the subject of peace in general in our hearts is my question. How do we? What do you see?
Yeah.
Like when you think when you think of peace, what does it look like? What does
I don't know. It's so enormous for me. I have to take it in small bites.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I totally get that. Okay, then Amanda and Gina, go ahead.
Okay,
Susan.
so for me, the opposite of peace is chaos. For me to think on peace, whether it's intention for myself or anybody around the world, would be to bring that essence of peace into my mind, my heart, so that the chaos of what's going on around me or within me would be calm. That peace would be just that presence. And the only way I can explain it is I actually saw, and I saw my ex-husband after he passed, that he was looking down at everyone. Um, this was the vision I saw and the sense of peace that I felt, that he was looking down on everyone that he left behind with a smile on his face and with exuding God's love that only God can pour through us. And he was surrounded by this peace. And it was like, I mean, I knew him from before, so, but this was a new person, and that was that calm and that peace, and that's the only way I can describe it. It's almost overwhelming. It's all encompassing. It's through every cell of our being. So that for me, that whole embodiment of peace would affect not only myself but everyone around. And I think that for me is what peace is basically eliminating the chaos in whatever aspect your life or anyone else's life is involved in, that's collectively across the world, around the universe,
Right.
galaxies, whatever.
Right, right, right. And that's right. Um, and and Jacqueline says ultimately peace seems to be the presence of God. And Sharina said, I would release the love to people to have the peace. Those are two really good points as well. Okay, let's, thanks, Em. That's great. Gina, and then Amanda, and then Susan.
Um, just in asking the question of what I think peace is, I can only come up with neutrality. And so not duality, but just being neutral. And standing in not one side, not the other, but being completely neutral. And if you're neutral, there's no conflict.
Mhm.
So I would say neutrality.
Very cool. That's very interesting perspective. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, Amanda?
Um, I think this is definitely something I'm still learning, but I'm further along than what I used to be. I think for me, but this is just me and I can only speak from my own experience. For me, like it's like that rest, it's that peace, it's having that, it's actually, I guess the only way I can describe it is living in that ascended place. And it's holding that feeling of love in me and managing to hold that no matter what chaos is going on. And then sometimes, you know, we can co-create to actually shift chaos that's around us and turn it into something else, because, you know, like we are creative beings. But like, for example, like when I was going on the school run, like there was a lady who I was aware of that I'd seen the other day who'd been crying, and I just had a real sense that she wasn't feeling peaceful, and, you know, like with COVID and all that and the things that are going on around the world. Anyway, today, like, Father highlighted her to me and he said, go and talk to her. And so I did. And it was just, you know, I didn't end up having the chance to talk to her for long, but I released that frequency of love and peace. And so for me, I'm definitely still learning. And in fact, like, I used to like have a condition of anxiety like when I was younger, and so this is the learning about peace and rest for myself has been a journey that I've been on for like the last 4 years, and I'm definitely further along than where I used to be. For me, staying in that constant frequency of love and peace and joy and all of that is literally staying in, because I'm in different places at once or sometimes multiple places, but it's staying like in, like I talked about that place that's it's staying in the garden, effectively walking with Yeshua, and staying in that garden of our heart always. And so I'm actually I'm definitely still learning. I'm not in it 24/7, but I can sometimes have like a whole week where I'm constantly aware of the spiritual realm. I'm never not aware of it. And I guess like what you talked about with that meditative state, it's that probably also applies.
Right.
But yeah, and then also like with that, like being neutral, that definitely applies as well. And like order over chaos. I don't know if I'd really use that phrase, but it's like that bird's eye view. It's seeing things from his perspective. Like, for example, you know, some people might say, "Oh, there's a war going on," whereas I've never really said, "Oh, there's a war going on." Like, I'm like, "There's some stuff going on in Ukraine." Okay, Father, what's my role in it? Like, you know, I've not felt fearful about that at all. I have done some things, like I've co-created and done some things with him, and I'm following a few friends in the spirit that are over there in Ukraine doing things. But it is definitely I'm a kind of a sound and frequency person. So for me, it's like it is a place of, it's been in that place of stillness within my own heart, in that place of calmness, and being able to release that to others. But I am definitely still learning, and I can have that, like without going into too much detail, my the home environment I'm in has been really challenging, and so I've had to learn how to maintain my peace within myself, even though things can not be like that around me. So I've actually had to learn, and it's not been easy, but I'm definitely further along than I used to be. Yeah, so I think that's all I was going to say about it. But yeah, I guess for me, it's like peace is being in the garden with him and walking in the garden with him, and releasing that in the earth realm, in the day to day and in the practical. And I guess if you want to talk about the Ukraine thing, I haven't really ever prayed like I want peace in Ukraine, because I very much only do things in that kind of as the Father says to do. So yeah.
No, I understand what, the underlying situation is based on war. It's affected every one of us in one way or another. I just found myself realizing the importance of peace, and there's that saying, "Let there be peace on earth, but let it begin with me." And how that applies. That's very easy to say on this side of the ocean, where we aren't listening to the trauma. Ed, did you have? Okay. Anyway, thanks, Amanda. I wrote down a ton of stuff that was very, very, very good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, Susan.
Yes. Okay. So I love that song, "Let There Be Peace on Earth." That was my grandmother's favorite song. When you said that, I was like, oh. Another thing you said earlier tonight was that, is feeling from your heart. And when you asked us this question, my first reaction was, boy, I say that to people all the time, shalom or peace. But am I really saying it from the heart? So this has really been introspective for me, and this is some of the thoughts I had on it was, it starts with, for me anyway, it starts with an inner tranquility and a completeness and love in my heart, and the peace is actually unity with all creation. So I don't see it as just unity with people, but also unity with the plants and the trees and the animals. We're all, every living thing, that I think true peace is being in harmony. I use the word harmony, and in a Sabbath rest with all living things on the earth. And I think that God calls us, Father calls us to be instruments of that, by showing
Wow.
everybody.
Wow.
So that's kind of where what I think.
That's pretty awesome. That's and I love what you said about peace, even in and with nature, right? And the animals, everything. I've
I feel like the trees and the animals are just crying out for us to be on the same page as them and be in harmony with them and understand. And we were, from Adam and Eve, we were supposed to be in charge and caretakers of this whole earth. And I think that they're all waiting for us to
Yeah.
step up,
Yeah. Wow, that's so good. That is so good. And by the way, you're not unique. You're very unique, but in what you're just saying, because there are many people that are saying the same thing about they're feeling the trees. I have a friend who hugs trees, and I have a tree that actually I feel talks to me. It seems goofy, right? It's really, really goofy. But there seems to be something that's happening that we're connecting, certainly with each other, but all of nature is groaning for our revealing. And why are we surprised when that simpatico with nature is happening at such a deep level? That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Wow, Jackie, you have to unmute, please. Yeah. Okay.
I was I was funny speaking about Susan, of being at peace with nature and just in the going out and expecting to be one with nature and to the you become like that. No wonders that had just spoken over the years for which begin with in
Jack,
the Lord hope. And
Jack,
it's
you're in,
evident to the Lord near.
Jackie,
Yes.
internet is very
Oh,
unstable, so I'm only hearing every second or third word at times. Is it possible for you to write it in the chat? I really want to hear what you're saying. Is that an easy thing for you to do? Have you disappeared? Yeah. There's
or
you're not coming through, Jackie. Your sound, your voice isn't coming through. And now it's completely silent. If you can hear me and if it's
okay,
possible, could you write?
basically Philippians.
Okay, I'm going to.
Okay.
I don't want to do this. I'm going to mute you because you're going in and out. Kathy, can you write Jackie a note in the chat? Okay. Jackie, okay. There we go. Yeah, and I can't mute you either. Okay. All right. Hadassah.
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay. Peace. It's a word that I've been very attractive, very, I just love the word peace. And it's been, I don't know how many years that every time now that I hear the word peace, I immediately, my mind goes to shalom. It's like I don't even hear the word peace anymore. It's just shalom automatically. My mind, my spirit, my conscience, it's just shalom. And to the point that in my house, I have different, I was trying to count them right now, but I know I have more than 4 pieces of art, and pictures and letters. Some of them are Jewish. Some of them, I don't know where I got them from. I have the word shalom in art all over my house. When I go to a place and I see something that I like, that it has the word shalom, I just get it. I hang it out. I hang it in my house. I put it in my car. I put it in my purse. I just have this attraction towards shalom. And again, it's not the word, it says shalom. And it's been going on for, I don't know how many years since I've been collecting this art collections of the word. I don't know, maybe 40 years, maybe, I don't know. So now what I've been doing, because now that I'm learning about the realms and be more conscientious of just the presence, wherever I go, just to release something. I mean, I've been doing this also for a while. So what I do when I go to stores or even homes, one of the things that I do is I just release shalom and I release the glory of God.
Right.
Again, it's a habit. You know how it is, when you have spiritual disciplines or these things you want to practice, it takes a while to actually get into your daily routine. I do it all the time now because I've been doing it for a while. I go to the store, wherever I go, I just release shalom,
Awesome.
release glory.
Yeah.
And it's like, for some reason, before it was just shalom, now it's glory. So, okay, so I feel that the Lord has led me to release those two atmospheres every place I go. So I think Anne mentioned about, let me see, I wrote it down. Destroying chaos. That's what I see. When I walk into a place, this is the picture I get. What I get is, I'm wearing, the armor of God. I'm wearing this big, huge shoes that carry shalom with me.
Right.
So when I go into a place, I'm walking. I'm like the walking shalom being. I don't know how to explain it. I'm trying to explain. I never talked about. It's so interesting. Never said anything to anybody about this. But as I'm hearing you talk about peace, I'm thinking, I gotta share my experience. This is an experience. I see myself walking with these big, thick shoes into a place, and I know I'm shalom, and I'm not carrying shalom. Again, it's not. I don't see peace. Peace doesn't even exist in my mind anymore. It's like nothing broken, nothing missing, right? That's what I see when I see shalom, when I see the word peace. So I walk in, I'm carrying shalom, so there's shalom all around me. And again, because I'm learning these things about atmosphere and realms, I'm learning.
Right. And I appreciate you saying that, because that is in essence how we should all be walking, how you're describing, and be in it. You've come to the place where you've become shalom. You become it, and that's so awesome. All right. Thank you for sharing that.
May I say something else? Somebody mentioned about what's going on, in Russia. And I have a nephew that was sent to Romania about a couple of, like maybe 2-3 weeks ago. That's how I pray. The Ukraine, and as soon as I found out, my sister called me. She says he was, how you say, he was deployed to Romania.